I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of gendered issues within organizational psychology, but also it's like there is an understanding that this research is done to benefit everybody. It's not just to benefit men or women or anybody on the spectrum. And so that for me has been sort of like the neutral approach to it that I've taken. And then I'm just a woman, and so I naturally will bring like a feminine approach to it. But yeah, I think that a lot of the work that I do is in supporting women, especially who are in leadership positions, first of all, by saying, yeah, it's not fair that you were handed a system that's broken, and it's not fair that you're being asked to do so much more than somebody else in that position, and also try to like fix it. But if we can take these small steps towards making your job and your life easier, then that trickle down starts to happen, and that's the message that you start passing on to people who come after you.
And what are some of those small steps? Like
I mean,
when you have someone and you go and they want, what can I start doing tomorrow?
I think that, I mean, I hesitate to say it's coaching because I'm not like a certified coach, but
Right.
I am a person that people go to sort of discuss, especially when it comes to their working relationships with the people that they manage. I have been really passionate about people in management positions on Broadway because a lot of people work really hard to get to that position, and then they get there and there's hardly any support and absolutely no training in terms of, okay, now you're managing people and personalities, and that is difficult. And you might not, some people just naturally sort of slot into that position. For those who don't, especially as we're seeing more women and people of color in those positions, if I can support them as a person who you can come talk to, and then their interactions become different with the people that they manage. So it's sort of talking about like, this is how I'm dealing with this conflict. It's not working. I'm pulling my hair out, and I can tell that I'm making this other person miserable. And then we talk about it in a way that says, when you meet with them tomorrow, like, how about we take this slightly different approach? So it's not drastic, like changes overnight, but it is something where I think, especially when it comes to the management of people, understanding that people want others to be successful, but you have to understand actually what creates success over time.
Yeah.
You know,
So go ahead. Go ahead, Julia.
I just this kind of work with people, it seems like you could also sell to the academic community because it's the same kind of situation, like high talent, completely trained intensely in one area, not trained at all in management. But at some point, like scientists or leaders of academic teams have to manage people and they're never trained on how to do it.
Hmm.
And the rest of their career depends on it.
Hmm.
And it's like a borderline abusive system. So there are a lot of similarities between like the entertainment world and academia that maybe I don't feels like you could be really valuable there as well.
Yeah, totally. And I think especially like the reason why it started in the arts is not only because that's where I've been trained, that's where I've found a career in, but it's also I found that creative people already sort of have the door open to that. And so you're especially like people are recognizing they're like, when like I feel stuck. Like I feel like I worked so hard for this position. I'm here and I like can't even imagine doing this for another like couple of months.
Yeah.
And I think with anybody who's worked hard to be in a position of a management position, like it then becomes, do I shut down and just do it? Or do I leave entirely? And I think people think about those two options, but not necessarily about like, what could I get training in order to be better? And also, can people work on the system around me so that I'm not constantly like being the best person in the system, but that
Right.
the system gets better as well?
Yeah. Now you've talked, about people in management positions in the entertainment industry. And I'm not exactly sure that I understand clearly what that is. So, for
Yeah.
example, if you're the director of a play, you're so talk about, let's say you're a director of a play,
Hmm.
of a production, and compare that to you are the manager of a performing arts center
Hmm.
Or a
in
producer of a production.
Memphis, Tennessee. So,
Yeah.
but the manager of the performing arts center, that person could be there for 10 years
Hmm.
and never really does anything creative, so to speak, but manages a lot of people and
Hmm.
also has to have a discerning eye
Hmm.
for what is actually good product.
Hmm.
So,
Well, I mean, all the manager, the producing manager of a theater,
yeah.
I'll take that first, where it's
Okay.
sort of like it, everybody who finds themselves in that position, many people who find themselves in that position, have found themselves there because they're creative people.
Mm,
If not, they probably wouldn't work in the arts because there's
mm,
it's a hard career path. And so often people find themselves in those leadership positions, finally in a position where they have the choice about what shows they're going to bring to their audience. They have the choice about what directors they're going to bring in, who they've always wanted to work with. But oftentimes when people get to those positions, it's because they've sacrificed their own autonomy, relatedness, competence. They've made these sacrifices so that they get to those positions and their creativity is really quiet. And so with those people, I love sort of reintroducing the tools to get them to have a stronger relationship to their own creativity because that must have been how they sort of got into that field.
mhm,
Um, and we need a lot of creative problem solving when it comes to the arts, not only with financing, but also how do we keep introducing new things to audiences? How do we recognize when the things that we are providing to our audiences are not reaching them? And how do you pivot?